Okay, we were just finishing up talking about Interior Man. I just want to see if they have anything more they'd like to talk about there, and go ahead.
Right. Well, I think of the remaining tracks, there's quite a few, but we I think we'd like to maybe mention Hymn to the Ordinary, which is the last but one track on the album. It's the longest track on the album, and it's probably the most proggy, possibly, track on the album. I would, venture to say. And again, it started off with the piano, just as lots of these do, simple piano, and again, harking back to the first track, like Jim Bryan on bass is on there, and David Stahl again came in with some excellent work, and also Alex did some very nice guitar work, and it's musically it sort of starts off and then builds up and then goes down again. And it's again one of my two of the ones I've done, particularly my favorite ones on the album. And Ramley has turned that song into a wonderful lyrical journey as well. So maybe if you want to have a chat about the themes that you were looking at there, Emily.
Hmm.
Does it
Yeah,
kind
I
of put everything back together? That's the way I looked at it. Um, in the album, that all the different stories are kind of brought together with this theme. But
That's no.
well, that's interesting. That's interesting. I hadn't looked at it that way. I mean, I certainly I consider it to be the centerpiece of the album, not merely because it's the longest track on the album, and not because it's the heaviest track on the album either. Um, but it is interesting what you're saying, Mark. The fact that the exact same lineup that recorded Nightlight come together again on this track towards near the near, one track from the end, and again, like just a really sensational performance from everyone. When I first heard the track, and just the form that it was written in, just in that crescendo form, it just starts from nothing and then just builds up to an enormous climax, and then diminishes away in a really lovely way as well towards the end. I just loved it. I loved it, and I knew that I wanted to write on it as well. But therein lay the problem. I really, really struggled with lyrics for that song. I knew that I wanted to write about my daughter, and I knew that I wanted to focus on that relationship as a father-daughter relationship. But boy, did I struggle with writing lyrics for that song. I think it took me, on average, I can usually get lyrics done for a song on average in a week or two. I can usually get them done in a week or two. I know other songwriters that can get lyrics done in an hour.
yeah,
Like I can't. There's
no,
no way that I can get lyrics done in an hour. I have to research things. I have to dig into,
yeah,
often I have to dig into history, to actually start, because I don't know about this stuff. So I have to research it, and before I can actually start writing about it with any level of authority. Otherwise, you're writing about something that you know nothing about, and that's a recipe for disaster. But
yeah.
but I'll tell you what, I should have known how to write about my relationship with my daughter, but
But
it
still,
was so difficult. It was so difficult, and I struggled with it. It took me 6 months to
yeah,
write the lyrics for that song. I started, I gave up. I would find it on my desktop, and I'd go, oh, I'll have a crack at that again, and worked on it, maybe wrote a line or two, gave up, and then it must have been around about the fifth or sixth month that I'd actually been working on the lyrics for this song, that I got into a role And often lyric writing is like that. I was saying to someone that I was collaborating with just the other day that that you have good days and bad days. Some days it's you're on fire and you've got to be there for the process, because I don't know where it's coming from, but often you know, your best lyrics are coming in a rush, and you have to give into that, and you have to be present for it. And hopefully you've got no distractions. But Hymn to the Ordinary, wow, that the ending of that came in a rush, and it came at about the 6-month mark. But it was really, really a really lovely experience for me to write about what it meant to become a father, and what my daughter means to me. And you know, it's one of our most essential relationships, I guess, being a parent. So
But
yeah, that's
you know, I gotta ask the obvious question. How did she respond? What was her feeling after listening? And has she listened to it?
my daughter.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. And generally her opinion is it's really loud.
But did she
That
agree? She agreed with what you said, or lyrics
yeah.
generally?
She's 10. She's 10. So for her, the lyrics and English is not her first language.
Oh, yeah.
So she speaks English well, but it's not her first language. And I'm coming from a native speaker perspective, and someone that has a slightly larger vocabulary than my 10-year-old daughter. So for her to fully come to grips with what I'm saying in that song I mean, most good lyric writing is open to an enormous amount of interpretation. So
Sure.
what one person reads and gets out of it isn't necessarily what your 10-year-old daughter is going to read and get out of it as
That's
well.
true.
So who knows, maybe down the road in the future, when she's a bit older and she has the ability to dig into all of the metaphor in those lyrics, hopefully she'll come to appreciate it on a new level. I hope so.
Great. Well, everyone get out there and get this album. It is fantastic. There's so many different stories, different ways to look at life in general. That's just a very broad generalization. It's just a wonderful album, great music as well. What's up next for you guys? I guess, wait, before I jump there, any chance of touring any of this, or
Well,
since you're so spread out and
that's
far
the
apart,
problem,
that
isn't it?
probably,
Yeah, it's unlikely unless unless somebody decides to sign us up and give us lots of money. I very much doubt that we'll be ending up touring, because
the
we'd
studio
never
album.
get to rehearse together, would we? But it's a lovely thought, and obviously, but I don't unlikely. But we are still getting together
Celebrating. Yeah.
and collaborating, and we're sort of working through songs on the next album, which is as yet untitled, which hopefully will be out, before too long in the future. And I suppose if the theme of the first one was nature and in all its guise, I suppose the theme of the second one is going to be history. So it's going to be an educational series of albums, obviously.
Oh,
We've got
I
lots of
love
historical
history.
stories to come in album number 2. And that's where we're at. We've got, I think, one track which is near as anything finished. And I'll if I may, I can probably send you a copy of that, see what you think of it.
Oh, thank you.
After we've finished here, and we'll see what you think, and just a taster really.
Yeah,
So but that's the next thing on the horizon is album number 2, as yet untitled album number 2, and
excellent.
thereafter who knows. But it's been a wonderful journey so far in from album number 1. It actually has. And the reaction we got from yourself and other reviewers has been very encouraging.
That's what I
So
was going to ask you next. How have people requested it, bought it?
But
I mean,
lots of people have listened to it.
that's good.
Buying it is somewhat of a another story, but not in the numbers that make it in these
Yeah.
in these days economical to do anything. But we know we're not gonna be Taylor Swift, are we? So we're not necessarily in here for earning lots of money, or that would be a nice byproduct. But actually, what we're really after is getting people to listen to the music, and plenty of people have listened to it both on Bandcamp, and it's been on streaming sites and so on and so forth. So yes, that
Well
is
received.
in my book an amazing fact that thousands of people throughout the world have actually listened to our music.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, and these days people take for granted, like you said, Taylor Swift, millions and millions of people. And hey, I was just happy when I reached 10,000 people viewing these interviews. And I thought, maybe two people will watch it. And so for me, that's no huge number in any person's dictionary. But for me, it was
Yeah,
remarkable. I was like, I can't
absolutely.
believe that many people would even want to see this. So, and they're meant to be a channel for you guys to get your message out beyond the music. I've told several people it's, we pretend like we're sitting in one room on different couches and we're just talking about the album. I'm not Howard Stern. I'm not going to ask you about your fourth wife of your, you know, fifth relationship or any of that stuff. It's let's talk about the album, let's
Mm.
and that kind of thing. And you guys did a great job here. Is there anything else you wanted to mention about the album, about the band, anything else we didn't cover?
No, the only thing I would actually like to say, because we've talked about Ramley and me and Chris, but just to reiterate, all the other people that have been involved in it, because collaboration it's not just the three of us, although we're the prime movers, shall we say, but it's all
Mm.
the other people who some people we mentioned, some people we haven't. And one person I would just like to mention is somebody who comes from not far from where you were brought up in Ohio, which is Nick Donardo, who plays
Yeah.
drums.
Ah,
And we haven't mentioned him so far. He's an excellent drummer,
Mm.
and I've done other albums with him as well. And he's played extremely well on a number of tracks, both on this album and other albums I've been
Yeah.
involved with. So
Yeah.
just thought I'd
Yeah.
mention him. But for all of the people that have been involved in it, it's been it's been really, it's made a difference for us and our music. And
Ramley?
that's really it from me.
Yeah, if I had to tie a ribbon around it, I would say that I would go back to what I mentioned maybe before we started the interview proper at the beginning, in that the way that we made this album is, well, I think it's the way to the future. I think for a lot of musicians to get material completed. Often it's difficult to, I mean, given that we have the technology that we have today. I mean, look at what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
But also we've got computers that allow us to record in our bedrooms, in our living rooms, and we have the luxury of recording incredibly high quality albums without going anywhere. We can
Yeah.
do all of this at home. We can
Studio.
meet other musicians. We can meet other musicians online. We can exchange high quality files with each other. We can produce albums, and I think that this is only going to it's only going to like escalate from here. I can't see that this is. I think that this is the direction that musical collaboration was inevitably going to go in, was that it would become an online venture, which is very much what it is today. And all music as well being bought and sold online as well. It was interesting. We used to have in the mall, there's a shopping mall not far from where I live here, and there used to be a Tower Records up on the second
Oh yeah.
floor. It was there. It was there for years. It was there for years. And about a year ago, I was walking through the mall and I thought, hang about, where's Tower Records? And it just silently, without announcement, had just disappeared.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, so what do we do now if we want to buy a CD? Well, nobody buys CDs anymore, apparently, which is why that shop just
Closed down.
closed up and disappeared. And I wonder if this is something it's just a worldwide phenomenon now. Like
Yeah,
we don't have hard copy of anything anymore. All music is being produced, bought, and sold online. And I think that this is the future, and it's wise for musicians to embrace it and get involved in it, because you can produce albums, like The Wisdom of Simple Things, which, in the end, I'm really, really proud of. I'm sure that Peter and Chris are as well, and everyone that contributed to it. To think that happened in the absence of a conventional studio, and that we can get it up, and as Pete said, thousands of people have listened to it without ever touching a CD or any of those old world kind of methodologies. Like it's really fascinating. I think that this is where music is now, and it's here to stay.
Yep, and I definitely agree with you. I miss, for me, it was Peaches Records, and they were all over the U.S. at one time, and we had a beautiful one down in Seattle, near the university, that you walked in there. They had the Peaches crates to put your albums in, and all that stuff, and all the any kind of new music that was out there were posters everywhere. In fact, they had paintings on the outside of the building, all that stuff gone. And it really is sad. The one light at the end of the tunnel, maybe, and who knows how long that light's going to last. We went up to Vancouver, up in Canada, and they actually had a record store in the mall. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. Somebody saved it. And I guess in the UK, you still have them. I know in parts of Europe and California, they still have some places, but probably near LA and all those areas. But just to be able to walk into a traditional type of record store and actually see CDs and DVDs and things like that.
Yeah.
Now the only thing we have left here is mostly vinyl, and people love vinyl, and all these younger kids are going to buy the stuff that we used to buy. And that's been recycled who knows how many times. But yeah, just to be able to walk into a record store like that was almost like a dream come true. It's like I couldn't believe it.
That's right. I mean,
is that true for you, Peter, that you still have a lot of?
I mean, there are some, but usually just in the big cities rather than, there's nothing relatively local. But obviously, if you go to Liverpool, there will be places like that. And vinyl is going through a bit of a resurgence. But CDs, it's not so much anymore, So yes, it's the same. It's the same across the world. Yeah.
It's arguable. It's arguable that albums that are made by groups of musicians in close contact with each other, going into a conventional studio with a great sound engineer and a producer, and doing things in the conventional way, produces better quality albums. That's one argument, and I think that that's true. There are some things that you can do in real time in a great studio that you really can't touch doing it at home in your home studio. And I think it's always, that's always going to be a reality for recorded music. But
we're gonna find out. Dream Theater is going through that right now.
Yeah.
After they got back together, they keep hyping what they're going to be releasing. So we're going to find out.
Mm,
I have, as you can see, I have been a fan in the past, but the
mm.
last couple albums, not a fan. They were produced the way you just mentioned, but now with Key Elements back, who knows? So we're going to find out. But yeah, and just one more thing I want to say
Yeah.
to you guys before we close it up.
Yeah.
Thank you for speaking so highly of collaboration. I thoroughly believe in it and try to bring as many bands together as I possibly can. If I hear something and I think, gosh, they really could use this, I will send an email and say, hey, please listen to this guy or this lady and see if there's a way maybe you can work together. So
Yeah.
thank you for talking about that because I think it's vitally important, as you say, in these times.
Yeah, you're dead right. There's nothing stopping musicians, and I mean we've proven that with this album, I think. But we're certainly not the first to do so. But there's nothing stopping musicians getting online and given the technology that we've spoken about, that we all have at home on our computers now. There's nothing stopping musicians getting together and producing incredible music. There's nothing stopping that now. The geography isn't an issue anymore.
Right.
It's really just finding people that you need or they need you, and linking up and making it happen.
And
But,
there still needs to be a degree of chemistry,
true.
It's true.
even online. I'd have to say too. Yeah, that won't go away. The human part of it is not going to go away.
That's true.
You're right. You're right. All right. Anything else we didn't cover? It's been a great conversation.
No, but yeah, no, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. No, it's no, haven't got anything from me. No, I'm fine.
Yeah, just it is a shame that Chris wasn't here today because he's great to have in a conversation, but we'll see if we can drag him here for album number 2.
Album number 2, please. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you,
hey,
Mark.
gentlemen. Yeah, no, thank you both very much. And stay with me for just 1 minute after this. I'm gonna hit the pause on the record, but any last minute things you wanted to mention to anyone out there?
I just want to thank everyone that helped us with this album. Obviously, Peter, Chris, and myself. We worked hard on it, but I think I've said in the liner notes of the CD that there actually is a CD, that this album wouldn't have sounded half as good without the other 10 musicians that contributed tracks to this album. I just a big shout out to all of those musicians. We love them for their contributions, and we look forward to working with them again. And many of them have already appearing in songs on the second album as well.
Well, thank you more. There definitely will be more. And appreciate both of your time today. They're calling from different areas of the world at different times of their evenings or mornings. And, to give this time, I really absolutely appreciate from both of you. And hold on 1 second. I'll just pause this. We'll say goodbye. And all right. Thanks again. But hold on.
Thank you.